Good evening and welcome to Gridlocked, the show that gives you everything United Grid League. My name is Cassie Martinez. Just before we start, this podcast is independently produced and is not affiliated with the United Grid League or any of its governing bodies. All views expressed are my own or those of my guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policies or positions of the league. That being said, thank you, Pegasus Smelling Salts, for sponsoring this episode. Let's get into it. I have Daniel Baugh and Byram Allen here with me. What's up, guys?
What's good? Let's go. Let's go. Gridlock Pod was really good. Hey, Cassie, what's
What
good?
up? What up, everybody?
Daniel,
Let's
what's
go.
good,
Let's do
brother?
this.
How are you?
I'm good, man. I get to talk what we love to talk. So let's break this down. Let's talk some ish. Let's sling some dirt. Let's get the chatter going. I mean, I'm ready. This is gonna be good right here.
I love it.
Let's
And
go.
those of you watching from home, feel free to comment, talk your crap. World is yours. Don't get too crazy, but let's have some
Look,
fun
let's
here.
go next. It's next tape, baby. Let's go. One more game. Talk to me nice, Daniel. Talk to me nice. Cassie, I know you guys are Floridians, but it's our time now. Jelly. Oh, sorry. It's Grid League. It's Grid League. I'm sorry. I got a little excited.
Don't
Hey,
don't get excited and blow this
Tatum,
3-1
love it
lead,
like
Byram.
Jason Tatum,
Don't do
first
it,
of
man.
all.
Byram, this is the first time. This is the first time that I'm rooting for the Celtics. I think ever in my life. I'm sorry for it. Byram's logged out.
Now let's go.
Hmm.
I'm so excited though. Hey, it's great season 2025. Man, what can we say? So much is going on in the offseason. Cassie, you gonna kick us off? What's good?
Yeah. So how it's gonna work is we're just gonna take a look at the rosters side by side. We're gonna talk a little bit about the match format, and we're just gonna compare the two teams, talk a little about their history, and get into it. What y'all think?
Let's go. Let's rock and
Let's
roll.
go. I'm ready.
Cool. All right. We're talking about the Miami matches here. So the first ones that we're going to see are the Tampa Bay Brigade versus the South Beach Palms. This is going to kick off at 10:30 at Miami. What is that? May 24th.
Four.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
At the Miami-Dade Youth Fair Expo. All right. So the Brigade versus the Palms. Now, here's what's changed. The Palms have added a lot of people to their roster. The Palms historically have a very sparse roster, working with maybe 6 men, 5 females. They have almost an entirely full roster. They've added Nicole Hunt, Bailey Yarborough, Loredana Niroda, and Alex Germain. Alex Germain actually used to play for the Venom 2 years ago. She signed on as a single match sign or a mid-season sign. I forget which one. Last season, when the Venom had to get players after Alyssa, JoJo, Alex, and all of them left the team. She's a great asset, and it's going to be really interesting to see what she adds to the Palms. What do you guys remember about the Palms last season?
They
Go for it,
they
Daniel.
didn't do enough. They didn't do enough. I think a lot of it comes down to really like the strength. What are they bringing in on the strength side? Because you have someone like Briley who can do a little bit of everything. You bring in Lordana Naroda, who, if you've seen her on social media, she can fly around the gym and do everything gymnastics based. You do have Artur Cabral, who is doing. He's gotten stronger. He's doing a lot of different things. When I talk to him on my show, he's really just like a utility guy. Is from what I gather, he's trying to do it all. But outside of a Brandon Shipper, like who's coming back that's going to be able to throw heavy weight around? I don't see it. I'm blind to it, but I just don't.
I'm kind of in the same line as Daniel there. I looked at the matches, right? And it looks like, and tell me if I'm wrong, guys. It looks like it's kind of geared more towards utility players, strength players, more than speed body specialists. So what I did is I went through pretty much all the teams, and I kind of looked at who had the most utility players and who had the most strength players. And looking at this first match here with the Palms and the Brigade, it looks like the Brigade have more on that line that can really toss weight around, like Daniel was saying. It's going to be interesting to see how it matches up. I also look at one of the things that I look at that's so fun that a lot of other sports do is who's the go-to players and who are the star players. And the good thing about Grid that I'm noticing just depending on the race and the match, a go-to player can be anybody, right? We pretty much know who the star player for the Palms. That's Briley Hanson. We know that already. But I'm looking at somebody like Heather Hudson, who's been putting in work just from my own eyes and the background that I've been seeing. She's a go-to in specific things, especially with the utility type plays. So I'm excited to see her get busy with the Palms.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit different than you guys, because I think that this is a really good move from the Palms. I think that they had a lot of, like you said, utility players that are really good at gymnastics and are just strong enough to do everything. But I think the signs in Loredana, in keeping Sam Secord, Corey Hendon, and that's going to add a lot to their strength. They also have Cody Rice, which I believe they didn't have at the beginning of the season last season. Who's been really, really important for them for that last barbell and that fourth quadrant for like the sprint relay comes to mind for me and things like that. But it's definitely going to be a toss up between these two teams, especially because the Brigade already last season were such a strong team. So now we're looking at the Brigade. They're bringing in Alex and Kayla Hollings, who used to play on the Orlando Aces, and they were excellent players, and they're bringing them onto the Brigade. They're signing new people in Brandon Thayers. They have Rebecca Rouse. How can you forget her? Marissa Oxenford, and their Chris Chaffee, who's extremely talented on the rings and all of the gymnastics things. So the Brigade, I would say, have a slight advantage just because they have all of the utility players, but they also have strength specialists and bodyweight specialists.
Mhm.
While the Palms kind of just have utility all around. I don't know if you guys agree with that.
Oh yeah, go for it, Danny. What you think? I'm in the
Yeah.
same.
I think here's what it comes down to for me is that you look historically at the matchup, and the Brigade haven't beat the Palms in the regular season match.
Really?
They haven't, and
Wow.
that's something the Palms are hanging their hat on, and that's great and all. But like, this is a different Brigade team. This is a team that was building itself last year. Those same pieces are back, and then you add some pieces to that, and you take the people who were there and they're significantly better this year with another year under their belt. I was talking to Rebecca Rouse today, and she feels much more confident in her second year on the grid and what she has to do. And like, those things are the difference makers, and having a core group of people and a group of people that have been on the grid before, and they know what the speed's like, and they know how to mesh together. That is a huge thing. It's hard to, like, in the first match, get your feeling and vibe together and communicate and do all those things. You're really kind of playing it out most of the time, especially when you're building a team. But the Brigade, I mean, they're adding pieces, like a guy like Dan Ty. I don't think anybody knows much about Dan Ty, but just wait. Like, the guy is legit. You got Dan Aberman, strong, strong, strong. You got Garrison Matthews, who's coming back from an injury at the end of last season. He's going to be 100%. You got Dalton Herrero, who, in my opinion, he's gotten stronger. He's gotten more, efficient with his gymnastics movements. He's an ultimate utility guy, maybe a guy that could compete for utility player of the year. But then on the female side, I mean, Jess Kraisman is not pregnant, and she's absolutely back to where she was, if not better. So, I mean, you add the likes of Ariana Durham, you add Hannah Bissett to that, who can do anything body weight. Marissa's back. You got Jocelyn and, Rebecca, and it's a strong team. It's hard not to give them the edge in this, just from a standpoint of what they're bringing back and who they've added. But then again, you add that whole component that the Palms bring, and like, they're going to show up. Like, you can't overlook a team like the Palms. They're going to be well coached. They're going to have a game plan, and the Brigade haven't beat them. So, like, the Brigade got to show up, but I do think the Brigade have the edge in this.
Yeah, that's great intel, Daniel. I love all of that. I'm pretty much the same. Sounds like we are in agreement, top to bottom, just from a roster standpoint. It looks like Tampa Bay is, they're ready. They, from top to bottom, they got strength specialists, they got utility players. Three names that Cassie mentioned, actually four for me: Rebecca Rouse, go-to player for me; Marissa Oxenford, You already know what time it is with her. Old faithful Courtney Moss is still there throwing weight around. You know what I'm saying? And also Chris,
Cowboy.
yeah, Chris Chaffee, as you mentioned. Dalton Herrera, like you mentioned, and he's been training in the offseason like crazy. I've been
Yeah.
tapped in with him. He's ready for this season. I'm looking for big things from him, like Daniel said. And yeah, I'm going with Tampa Bay with this first match.
I'm also gonna go with Tampa Bay ultimately. I think that the signs that the Palms made are critical. I think they could use a bit more specialists, especially in this match format, just with the pullovers and the pistol stick jump overs and things like that. You really want people who are good at things like that are very specialized just in that, just like a Marissa Oxenford kind of character there. So while I think that their signs are really good, and I'm really excited to see this matchup because last season it was pretty close. It wasn't like anybody just took it and ran with it. It was a fight to the death. And I'm excited to see that again. But I will give the Brigade the edge.
Yeah,
Do we see any standout players that we're looking out for?
for me, I mean, I think you got to go back to, for the Palms. I think it's going to come down to the female side. I think if you get people like Brielle Macarelli and Sam Secord and they're moving and grooving, I think they're going to be ready and primed. Obviously, you know what you're going to get with Briley Hanson. She's always going to bring it. I'm just curious to know what the guy's side looks like, and I think they'll have enough to piece it together. But it's always that female side that you always look for to see, all right, who has the edge. But on the Brigade side, I think it's gonna be, some people that maybe have been working their way into a primetime position, like a Ariana Durham or a Jocelyn Williams, who really puts themselves in a position where you're going to see them on the grid a lot.
I
Um,
love that you said that because I was also thinking Ariana Durham was standing out for me for the Brigade this year. I'm ready to see some more of her too.
Yep, definitely. I'll ask you guys this, and maybe you guys have better insight because you've been on the grid, you've seen the matches, you're right there on the sideline. A 10:30 match, like it's a morning match. Does that make a difference? Do you guys think?
I will say, as far as energy in the venue, it's not as hype. Um, I don't think there's much of a competitive edge when you just break it down because you know when you're going to be competing ahead of time. So maybe you're working out, you're doing your 10:30 a.m. workouts just to get your body regulated into that schedule kind of thing. But I wouldn't necessarily say there's an advantage as far as competing here and then like getting points towards your differential for the season, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
What do you think, Byron?
I think it depends. Depends on the temperament of the head coach. Basically, that's why I feel however a team competes comes from the top for me. So
Yeah.
if your coach is chipper in the morning and on that caffeine going heavy, the team is going to be the same way because you want that same type of energy. If your coach is kind of laid back and we'll ease into it, we got a 3 o'clock. Might be a little different. It's like college football. Daniel knows how that is. You got that 11 a.m. start and Cassie as well.
Yeah.
It just affect teams, So
That's why I asked, Byron, because you see it all the time in college football, especially. You get that early game and fans don't have a chance to really get their adult beverage, courage up, and like teams are coming straight off the bus to gear up. Like it's a different set of skills that you got to have, different mentality. But I mean, I guess with a lot of these cats, like 10:30 is a normal time. Like, like you gotta
Yeah.
be ready and
Yeah.
prepped. It's the first
Up and at
match
'em
of the
anyway.
of the
I
season.
will say there is something about not being one of the first teams to compete in the morning just because you get to see what all the other teams do, right? And you try to emulate them. So if they're doing a little Briley Hanson turn around, face the start line to finish in that fourth quadrant and then jump back, things like that. We know that that's happening from certain people already. But if there's anything new to be done to the strategy and a coach wants to implement it in that moment and steal it from that team, that can definitely be done. If you're competing later.
Yeah, I love it.
True.
Love it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
get to see the format prior to and see how things are going. I mean, you got rules like, super wild cards and stuff like that are all in play. So, you might see something and steal it. I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll
Oh,
be
yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
I'll
We've seen it
say,
already. We saw it last year.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing if people do you know in the Echo when they're jumping over the boxes and there's two partners and they're both holding dumbbells and they're doing the box step overs? I want to see if anybody's gonna try to do the Nick Shappy jump over, but with a partner this time. So partner jumping over the box, partner jumping over the box this way. You know what I mean?
I
It's gonna be
think
so different. Everything ain't for everybody, Cassie. Somebody gonna tear ACL.
look this.
I think we're gonna be seeing a lot of that this season, and I hope it doesn't go awry. But I think it'll be
Jeez,
so
let's
much
go.
fun.
Let's see.
Better
Go for it. I'm
better
ready. We
get
gonna
them
broadcast and talk
them
about it.
padded. Better get them padded boxes. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Because
I
if you
mean,
clip your knee on the edge of that box, bruh.
Bruh. Bruh.
bro, let me tell y'all something. I just got 3 weeks ago. I just got 10 stitches taken out of my shin for a box jump, and
No, they got you.
yeah, it got
Hey.
me. Like I've done it numerous times, but not to this extent. I don't know what happened, but like it
Oh,
was bad. So
but it's better.
it's
You
better
have
now.
you
Yeah,
have PTSD though.
Yeah.
I haven't jumped on a box yet. I will. Don't worry. I
Alright.
will.
I need the
Just better-
update when you do.
I'm gonna. It's gonna be put out there for everybody to see. It's gonna be like this
Please.
Disney story, overcoming the odds.
The swell of the
Jumping,
music and then
getting
the
back.
close up to your eyes, like, yes, I could do this. Yes.
Think
I
about
need the
Free
whole movie.
Willy jumping over the rocks and freeing himself.
Oh
That's
man,
me
You know
shout
jumping
out
on
to
the
Free Willy.
box.
Don't you
You know
dare
what's
talk
my
about Free
favorite
Willy right
movie?
now, Daniel. Don't you do it. Not one of the top 10 movies of all time. Free
That is
Willy. Are you kidding me?
my actual favorite movie of all time.
Oh,
Like,
I know it
not
by
even
heart.
joking.
I'm just gonna start crying for no reason. Let's
Oh,
move on,
man.
guys. This is grid
We
season.
got to get back on track. No,
All right,
my
all
bad.
right.
Throwing us off.
All right. I'll leave it with this. Standout players, I didn't get to say mine for the Palms. I'm looking at Daniel Lansake. I think he was super slept on last season. I think he was critical for the Palms. And I'll say Cody Rice too. I'm ready to see Cody Rice play a bigger role too for the Palms. I think I already said for the Brigade, Ariana Durham. Um, I'm ready to see what Alex Hollings has to offer on this team, away from the Aces. So I think that'll be interesting.
So we
It's gonna
are
be a
one
good one
accord. We
either
got
way.
Tampa Bay with the first match. Yes.
Yep.
Yes,
All
sir.
All right.
All right. Now we're looking at the 1 o'clock Houston Bandits versus the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Now, the Houston Bandits are a brand new team. Basically, everybody on this roster has not been on the grid except for Aaron Medina. Aaron Medina used to play for the Tampa Bay Brigade many, many moons ago. He moved to Texas. Sophia Davenport is running the Bandits along with Clarissa.
Bandits.
Clarissa? Oh,
Carissa,
snap.
yeah.
Carissa. Thank you. I'm sorry. I knew I was adding a consonant there. So this is a team full of rookies. It's going to be extremely interesting to see what they do here, as far as just how they act on the grid for the first time. So that's why I'm a little bit nervous about the Bandits. I'm not nervous in their ability at all. I would say the thing that I'm most concerned about is seeing their interaction, their teamwork, their communication, just because that's what grid is all about. I have no doubt in my mind that all of these athletes on this roster can complete what they say that they're going to complete. It's just a matter of how fast they're going to go because they're going against the Fort Lauderdale Lions, one of the winningest teams in the grid league. And not only are they the Fort Lauderdale Lions, if you remember last season, they formed a super team with the Orlando Aces as well as the Tampa Bay Brigade. Now they stole some of the Aces players because the Orlando Aces are no longer. The Houston Bandits are the team that replaces them. So the Lions are basically the super team that went unbeaten during the Las Vegas matches, and I am scared of them. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here. We got Julio Delgado, Taylor Sturgis, Darren Lasso joining the Lions, Alex Velez, Arcangel Andrade, Ryan Damati, which is the 2023 MVP, season MVP. Janine Nicole, Jasmine Simpson. This is a scary team, guys. I don't know how else to tell you that. I know that people already said like, oh yeah, it's the Lions, like they're always good. No, this is a new Fort Lauderdale Lions, and they're very scary. What do you guys think?
Yeah, for me, I think it's comes down to if we're gonna hyper focus on the Lions, all right, it is basically a super team. But here's the reality, though, Cassie Byram, is that you have the best of the best from one team and the best of the best from another team. It's inevitable that what you did on your other team, you may not do despite how you feel. Like you may go, well, I've done this every year that I've been on the team, but this year all of a sudden I'm not. How do they handle that? How do they handle being two units now coming together with one? I think the plus is you get somebody like Jamie Gold, who is the coach. She's going to be able to manage those things. But the big thing is when something doesn't go wrong, when something goes awry, what is the reaction with other people? Are they pointing the finger going, I could have done that better? Or is it going to be a team? And I think that's where like the question marks for me lie. I have them number 2 in my power rankings for that reason, just the unknown of them coming together as one unit. But I do think they're going to be a very tough team and a very good team. And if things mesh right, I think they're going to be really tough to beat throughout the season. If I, go over to the Bandit side, it's the exact opposite. You have veteran leadership on one side and you have rookies on the other. And it has nothing to do with the abilities, like you said, Cassie. I think if this was a CrossFit competition, you could put the Bandits up against any team out there and they would do just fine. But this isn't CrossFit. This is grid. And, things matter. I think Sophia's got her hands full as far as managing big personalities. And I think if they can check egos and get those things in check and keep it, basically about the Bandits and not about the name on the back, I think the Bandits can be very good. But there's a lot of mystery coming in with people who have never been on the grid and a brand new team. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of things that they have to do. But I mean, I'm interested to see where they are. I mean, I think that's what everyone wants to see. Not so much do they win or lose, but how good are they? Like, what is the barometer for the Bandits right now?
Yeah.
I agree. I think we're all in the same lane with that. With anybody new coming to any sport, you got to show me. That's just how I feel about the Bandits. You got to show me. All these other teams have been through the gauntlet. It's like Cassie said, I have no doubt they're going to come out the gate hot. I mean, the grid page posted one young lady doing cartwheels up a hill. Come on now.
I saw that.
I already know. We are south of Philly.
That's a boomerang.
Hidden.
That's a boomerang, Byron. That ain't real.
Bro, that's crazy. So I'm like, all right, I know you have the ability. We all know about, hidden strength and speed in these southern caverns of towns and come together. Hey, I'm looking forward to seeing it. But like you said, when we're looking at the Lions, first of all, Jamie Gold, she runs a tight ship. So you spoke about egos, you spoke about personalities. She's going to have that in check. You have a huge personality in Taylor Sturgis. I look at him as like star player and also a go-to player. Like that's a dude that can pretty much do it all. Outside of maybe speed, may not have the speed, but guys like him from top to bottom, they're a scary team, like you mentioned. Jasmine Simpson is a speed demon. She's so quick on the grid. I like to see all these type of athletes get busy. I'm gonna go with the Lions just because not only their strength, but just knowing how to get through the grind of a grid season. That's something the Bandits are gonna have to figure out, especially those back-to-back days in when we're in Houston. Back-to-back days on the grid is a real grinder on the body. So for a new team who's never experienced it, it's gonna be interesting. We'll see. I'm going with the Lions for this match, though.
I gotta say, I'm not worried about the Bandits as far as capacity goes. Because the Bandits are a bunch of, Southern, work on farms, working hard, put a cow over my shoulder and take it down the field. I'm like, the Bandits, I don't want to smoke with y'all. I'm going to stand next to them. They're going to be like 7 feet tall. right?
Okay, all right, all right, all right.
I heard they were sponsored by Wrangler. I don't know if that's true or not, but
Oh,
that's just
okay.
what I hear.
That
Oh, they
would
tough like
be
that?
freaking sick. That
Okay.
is so on brand
You
for
gotta
the Bandits.
you gotta show me though. All of that is cute. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But when
Yeah.
that grid, when
I
you get
gotta
on those lights,
I gotta say, there was a video posted on the Bandits account of them doing burpees. And to me, who has been next to people doing burpees, who has refereed people doing burpees on the grid specifically, they didn't look fast enough.
mm,
And
interesting.
I mean,
And I
if they
have
want to know what
seen
fast looks like, they got to just look at the other team because Janine gonna come out there and she gonna have smoke
yeah,
flying.
as far as the burpees goes, like the Lions have it. I think the Bandits maybe have more strength overall. Um, but I have to give it to the Lions. I mean, that's a scary team full of veterans. And I have to say, it's sad that this is the Bandits' first match is against the Bandits in such a strong team. Just because I feel like they're coming in at a disadvantage, having never competed on the grid or knowing what it's like. I think that first like initial shock factor of being like, oh my gosh, like I'm here on the grid and I have to remember to do this and it's very loud and the music is playing in my ears and I can't hear my referee and my coach is yelling at me, but I don't know what my coach is saying, but I'm trying to complete these reps. So I think there's a lot in there that's going to play out and we're going to see play out happen in real time. And so I'm overall going to give it to the Lions. Standout players. I'm going to give it to Julio Delgado. I want to see more of him. I think he's been an excellent player for the Orlando Aces. I think he's going to do great on the Lions. I really like what you said earlier, Daniel, about the Lions maybe having to check their egos and also delegate the responsibilities. I think they were really good at that during the Vegas matches. I think that they were able to like come together as a team. And I know that Eric Cardona and Paul Leas, for example, didn't work as hard during that match because they had people like Janine Nicole and Trisha Davis to rely on during those matches. So being able to split the responsibility is probably better for the team overall because you're able to have the veteran knowledge of knowing when to sub out, but also having people that can work in the same talent as you, so to
sorry to
speak.
cut you off, but Cassie,
Go
I
ahead.
just spoke earlier. Janine is the one with the speed. That's
Yeah.
the one. Sorry, Jack was good too. She's a star. She's a beast too.
Yeah.
But Janine on that grid.
Janine is a bullet, and
Yeah.
Jasmine Simpson, I see her becoming a Taylor Stallings-esque.
There you go.
character.
That's where I got it. I got it. Dyslexia. Sorry.
Yeah.
Jasmine, in my opinion, is the X factor on the Lions team.
Who was that again, Daniel?
Jasmine Simpson is the X
Oh,
factor on that team.
Dude, I did some research on her, just her whole backstory, bro. Man, she's a dog out there. I'm looking forward to seeing her compete. She's great.
Y'all check out my interview with her. Like we had a great time. We got deep, man. She is a good person.
Nice.
Heart's good and works her ass off and like she gets after it. So like people like that I want to root for. And I think she definitely is gonna show her strength this year because she's got it.
Yeah, she does. And she shows it. I really like characters on the grid that speak passionately and maybe throw a face or throw a like a pep talk to their team every once in a while. That's why I like a Chelsea Ranieri character too. But people like that are definitely one of my favorites on the grid, and Jasmine Simpson is definitely one of those people.
Nice.
All right. Who do you have, Daniel?
Give me the Lions. I do think I talked about the X factor being Jasmine for the Lions. I think Sophia is the X factor for the Bandits. I do give the edge to the Lions just with the experience and the coaching and just overall like what they're bringing. But I think if the Bandits have a chance to win, it's because Sophia Davenport has done something and she's got some type of magic that she's put together and created this team. And I think that can't be overlooked. And I think you got to give her a lot of credit going into this season going, I got to create a team. I got to create a brand. I got to get sponsors. I got to do all these things. And oh, by the way, hey, we get one of the best teams in the league in the very first match. And if they end up pulling out a victory, I think it's a lot of what she was able to accomplish to set that up.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I think Sophia Davenport. I'm interested to see what her capacity as a player will be on the grid. Just because I know that she's a really hands-on coach,
Yeah.
so it'll be interesting. I'm excited to see what Colton Mertens does on the grid. Just because I've heard a lot about him. I'm not super big on CrossFit, so like there are names here that I like. You can call them, my left foot, and I would be like, oh, did they go to the games? But I'm interested in seeing how he does. John Young, obviously, just because he's a fun character too. So I think he's going to be the heart and soul of the team. So I'm excited to see. Ariel Swan, by the way, I forgot to mention this. This is my bad. I believe she played for the Breakers, and now she plays for the Bandits with Sophia Davenport. Sophia Davenport must have brought her over. She must be in that area. So that's an honorable mention there
Nice.
too,
Nice.
as far as a connection there. All right,
So, yeah,
y'all ready?
the Lions, baby. Let's see. But
Lions.
I'm not shocked. Wouldn't be shocked with the out the gate win. If the Bandits come out of the gate with a win, that would be huge for the whole franchise.
That would be, I'm not gonna lie, I have the Lions, but kind of want that to happen. I love an underdog story. I love the
Yeah.
Bandits to come in here, Southern wearing Wrangler pants and just mess
I
it up
mean,
out there.
if they pull up on horses, I'll lose my shit. That'd be great. That'd be great. I'll switch my pick from the Lions to the Bandits if they show up on horseback. Let's go.
Horses in
that'll be
Miami. Oh,
sick.
that'd be crazy.
We got horses out here. You just gotta bring them from down south. And
Got to go to the Gulf Stream. You'll see a bunch of
yeah,
horses there.
you go.
I gotta put me on, man.
All
Gotta
right.
get down there.
Yeah, we'll have a good time. All right. Palm Beach Breakers versus the Las Vegas Venom. Highly anticipated match of the season, match of at least the day from the last season. This is a 3:45 primetime match. So, in case you didn't know, welcome to the show. So, Venom, right? Venom last season had Alyssa Martinez on. They had Joseph, a bunch of other players. Sabrina Cheney was part of the Venom. So they left,
Yep.
right?
Been a lot of trash talking in the office. You just go ahead and say it, Kat. Just say it. Yo, listen, it's been drama. We've been
This
saying
is
it,
where
we've been talking trash,
I gotta
stealing
tiptoe
players.
Byram.
Hey, listen, I wrote it down. Are the Venom a den of thieves? Are they just taking players to come up? What's going on, Cassie? Let us know. What's
All
going on?
right. So the Breakers went ahead and took those players and also signed a bunch of new players, as well as Dylan Fullwood was also on the Venom. The rest of those Venom players kind of just disappeared into the wind and didn't come back. But the Venom signed some new players, so let's talk about it. Mike Andre, Nick Andre, Alex Smith, Dakota Shackleton. We saw all of these characters in Vegas last season. Dakota Shackleton actually played on the Breakers last season, but he lives in Las Vegas where the team relocated, so it made sense for him to join the team. Nick came with Alex Smith, who is a big CrossFit Games athlete, in case you didn't know. Welcome. And they are brothers, and they are so much fun to watch. They like to fight and pick fights, and you've probably seen them in the Instagram comments talking crap. They're big dudes. It was their first time watching Grid last season when Alec came. They weren't even planning on competing, but they were like, "Oh, hey, well, we'll play. We just came to Vegas to party, but we'll do some fun stuff." Wes Kids, Seth Hebert, Michael Livas, they are only playing in the Dallas matches. Right.
Okay.
Danielle, that's actually Alex bestie in Virginia. That's where they're located. And we just have a team full of rookies. This is kind of looking like the Bandits, except we have just a few more veterans to add in there. And it's a little bit more scary because they don't all live in Vegas, and their coach doesn't live in Vegas. He lives here in Miami with me. So they, they're kind of just rocking with what they got and trying their best, and we're going to see how it turns out. Now, the Breakers, I have to say the Breakers are a really strong team here. Joshua Newell has emerged as kind of like a team captain for the Breakers. Him and his wife, Shay, were probably the best pickup that they've had as far as team spirit. And then obviously they added the Venom players from last season, And they have people like Jonathan Restrepo and Reese Lyons, who were amazing bodyweight specialists last season, very, very skilled, and some rookies. So we're going to see how that plays out. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think when you well, I got some updates. So shout
Go
out
ahead.
to
Let's hear it. Let's hear
shout
it.
out to Artur Cabral
What's
of
up, dude?
the Palms. Kale Lehman isn't on the Bandits anymore. I don't think that changes my opinion. Going back to that, Colton will only play in Dallas. It definitely doesn't change my opinion for that first match. And he's saying, Cassie, nobody just disappeared. In the win for the
No,
Venom.
I mean, they disappeared in the wind because they don't play grid anymore. I was talking about the other ones that don't play grid anymore. All right.
True.
So I don't know where they are. I can't see them. Disappeared.
So
Just clearing that up. All right.
I heard there was this movie called Gone with the Wind back in the day. You ever heard of that?
I did hear that.
My bad. Sorry.
That's a Byron, that's a
my bad.
really old movie, Byron.
Yeah, it was really old. My bad.
That's
about
like
it.
older than you, so I don't want to hear that one.
I mean, here's what I got for you. I mean, I got a hot take on that. That's a terrible book and a terrible movie. Like,
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me?
no. Like who
We
wants to
have to
spend
thumb
time?
wrestle over this, Daniel. We have to thumb wrestle over this.
I got you. I cheat. Just
Oh
so
my
you
God.
know. No, looking at the Venom. All right. One thing, Cassie, that I think that has to be said is I'm really proud of what Paul's been able to do. You take the situation and you go, all right, let me internally reflect on what happened. All right. I'm not going to worry too much about the players and all this. I know that I personally need to do something. Rebrands, moves out west, decides, okay, this is what I want to do. Makes a big move. That's awesome. And then commits to going and getting players. All right. Because now it's almost a rebuild. All right. Yeah, we've got some people like a Torrey Height coming back. We've got a Dylan Florentine that's returning. Like those are two solid players, but what are we building around them? Goes out and takes Alex Smith, who, helped out last season. Nick, Mike, Andre, they're back, for a full season. And then you add slowly add the pieces. And I don't think it was this like big, massive, like all of a sudden you got players. I just think over time, Paul was able to construct a different, way to go about getting players, getting them from Virginia, getting them from other teams, getting them from out west. In my opinion, does what you're supposed to do when you're trying to rebuild a brand and rebuild a team or move it and try to set things up. So shout out to him for that. When you look at the players that are there, I mean, you're looking at some CrossFit, you're looking at some weightlifting, you're looking at some, just overall really strong people, and you got some gymnastics thrown in there. So very balanced in what he's brought onto the squad. My question is okay, well, what does that mean? Haven't seen them all together in a grid situation, and now we're throwing you in there 345, be ready to go. And I think they will be, but you're getting a team, in my opinion, the Breakers, who have done the most work in the offseason. Much like Paul, I talked to Matt Hornaday, and this was early on, right after the season ended, and he said, I've got to do things differently, and I've got to go out and I've got to set this thing up, and I've got players looking at me to make this be the best situation possible. So he goes out, he takes Josh and Shay Newell. They set up a combine in Alabama. They pick up some players like Andrew Dodd. They pick up Billy Shelton. They pick up a Haley Booker from the Midwest. They pick up who else did they get from that? They got, I know I'm missing somebody. Oh, Nate Cobb. And you add Evan Newman, who is young and strong. You add now people like Kristen Therian, who has been on the grid before with the Breakers. She's returning. And now you add those pieces from the Venom, like JoJo, like an Alyssa, like a Dylan Fullwood. Now you're rocking and rolling with a lot of good pieces, not just good pieces, but some really good pieces that are proven. And so I think they've done the most work, and I think they probably, in my opinion, have the most to prove, because you can't be at the bottom last season, and all of a sudden people are expecting you to be at the top. You still need to earn it. But I will say, I think they've done a really magnificent job in the offseason, the best, I think, of all the 8 teams in getting the right pieces. Now, how that plays out, y'all know better than I do. Like, just because you got names, that don't mean you gonna have points. So,
Yep.
but I definitely, from a storyline basis, Cassie, I think this is like, I don't know if people are expecting like chirps and drama and things to happen on May 24th, but I'm gonna have my tea ready. I don't know about y'all.
I mean, I won't say it on the live stream, but I'm waiting for it and I'm ready to feel that tension from the two teams for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I always say, once you're in person and I can look you in your eyes, to get a little bit different. That heat
Yeah.
is a little bit different. All the talking
Yeah.
online comes to an end. That being said, for me, well, without knowing necessarily all the details on the players like you guys do, I just look at it from roster to roster, right? And for me, it could be a pick 'em. It could be a pick 'em if it wasn't for the experience of the Venom. And like you said, Daniel, something that we need to keep in mind is the move. I think the Venom had a really, really tough season last year, dealing with a lot with the roster, players going to be in and out, and trying to adjust, and Paul Bear trying to bring that team together just to compete and get through the season. So now I think there's a fresh start, like you said, and just looking at it, I'm going with the Venom for the win, just because of that
Oh,
experience
okay.
factor. They do have some players that are, high end players. I'm not too sure what's going on with the Breakers in the off season. You guys will know better than me, but it seems like they're a little quiet to me. I could be wrong, but I guess we have to just see how they show up.
You're
Yeah.
not looking in the
So
right places, Byron.
My bad.
Hey,
I'll
I
look harder.
mean, I would say that the Breakers definitely in the off season are putting in a lot of work.
Okay.
Probably more than any other team. I think Daniel said that and covered a good bit of it. I roster to roster, it's hard to say because there are so many rookies on the Venom. Not that that puts them at a disadvantage, just because I know that they are also working really hard. And they have a lot of leadership in different directions. Like Alex Smith is kind of the leader of the players in Virginia, and kind of like keeping everybody on track because they do train at the same gym and things like that. I think Dylan Florentine acts as kind of like a captain figure for the Venom. And I think that's been really important too. He's been like traveling to go to all the combines that the team has been having, and it's been really fun to watch. I think this team is, as I said for the first match of the day, is an extremely skilled team. I need to see how they work together. I know that the Breakers are going to bring it because we saw it last season, and now the Breakers have new characters who have also been working just as hard, who are hard workers on the Venom and are really good players. And I think if they can get their team chemistry in line, which it looks like they do, it looks like they have good team chemistry. It looks like they have their head screwed on right, and it looks like they kind of have an expectation of what their roles are, which is one of the problems that the former players had on the Venom.
Mhm.
And for that reason, and I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, I'm going to give this one to the Breakers. And I do think it's going to be super extremely close.
wow. Wow. I look,
We got to throw a bonus flag on that one.
I'm telling you, there is one person that I don't think we're giving a lot of credit to. I mean, there's a lot of really good athletes on both of these teams, but there's one person in particular that we haven't talked much about that we're doing a disservice if we don't, and that's Vita Veterkon. I mean, you
Yeah.
want to talk about someone who could be the MVP of the league. Strength, she can do it all. She is like the rallying piece. Like, she is best friends with a lot of these people, and like that, those kind of things make a difference as far as people wanting to be there. Artur said you're gonna be sleeping on the couch, Cassie, with that take.
Probably am.
But but yeah, I think I've got to go with the Breakers. I just think,
The Breakers,
talking
really?
to yeah, I'm high on the Breakers right now. I just think
okay. I got to do
talking
my
to
homework.
Matt Evans, talking to Matt Hornaday, they, the things that they're doing are conducive to what winning programs do. And I think they've added the right people. And I think, between Vita Vetterkind and Nate Cobb, I think you're going to see two unbelievable grid players on that team. And then you add the likes of a Dylan Fullwood, you add JoJo, you add Alyssa, Josh and Shay, Billy Shelton, who is unbelievably good.
Cody Schaefer from the Palms.
Cody Schaefer as well. Reese Lyons. I mean, these people have been around. Like I'm giving the edge to the Breakers, and for numerous reasons. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Venom are right there, like making them fight for it, if not beating them.
I think it's definitely going to be like a very, very close match. I don't think that it's going to be handed to anybody at all. I think it's going to come down to the wire. Standout players. Rookie, I'm going to go Venom, Dakota Shackleton. He could do a little bit of everything. I believe he could clear every ladder and do every skill on the rings and the bars. Scary dude. Danielle Barry is going to be a fun gymnastics specialist to watch this season as well. Obviously, Dylan Florentine growing in his role. He's always fun to watch, but definitely growing in that captain role is going to be fun to watch. I'm looking at Evan Newman for the Breakers. I think that he was also one of the slept-on players last season, and he really needs his flowers because he really pulled it out. Jonathan Restrepo too. He was really, really good. Very fast on any ringer and just any gymnastics move. Both of them very skilled. Vita Vetterkind, we can't forget her. And Sabrina Cheney, it's going to be interesting to see how she does this season. We saw her a few seasons ago with the original Venom, and she was a very good gymnast. It's going to be interesting just because I know that she's no longer training as a college gymnast as she was at the time. So we'll see how that plays into this. I know that she was doing some weightlifting and getting stronger there. So I'm interested to see how they use her here. But yeah.
All right, well, I'm rolling with y'all. You guys have made it very, very convincing.
You switched over
in that work, and we got to give props where it's due. So if that's where it is, we gotta we're gonna call it 2-1. I'm still gonna stay with the Venom though.
Oh, okay. I thought you were switching over.
Like, yo, I didn't flip up on you, bro. Doesn't matter. I'm riding with you.
You had a funny way of just telling us you're gonna still ride with the Venom, man. Like,
I gotta ride with the Venom, baby.
I know you were like, oh, you made me jump over, but I'm staying with the Venom. Where are you jumping over to, bro?
A little bit, you know what I'm saying?
The suspense. Taylor Sculling said, the Breakers are going to be sneaky. This may be a good fit for JoJo. They manage egos over there. They're going to be tough this year. They're on a mission. Joshua is one to watch this year. I definitely agree with you, Taylor. I think that this is going to be a really good fit for the former Venom. As a whole, four of them that are on there over now. I think Matt Hornaday does run a tight ship over there, especially coming in, knowing what he knows, and being able to just adjust expectations. I think is always an advantage when working with new people. But Artur says Alex Smith. Okay, he says hot take or facts. Alex Smith built the new Venom. I'm gonna say
is my guy. That's you know what? That's the player that I'm looking at to put them over the top if it happens.
Oh, 100%.
And I'm watching him this season.
100% Alex Smith is going to be a really important factor for the Venom. Alex Smith built the new Venom. I wouldn't say that just because and maybe that's a little bit of my like seeing firsthand, like the coach and owner, like all of the things that he has to do to put those puzzle pieces together. Because it does take a lot of finagling. Alex Smith was instrumental in bringing a lot of the players in. So I'd say he has a pretty big role in the Venom. That's what I'll say.
Let me tell you something, Cassie. Alex Smith, that's fine. Let Alec bring players in because let me tell you, you know who else brings players in? LeBron James.
Oh
Michael Jordan. Jason Tatum. Like stars bring in other players. And so I'm okay with that. Let me get the one guy and then everyone else will come. Field of Dreams, Byron. If you build it, they will come, and all it takes is that one guy, and people will come. I'm telling you, like
great movie there,
oh,
great movie
man.
choice.
I like that
great
one.
Movie choice. Yes, sir. I agree.
But then they ask, on First Take and all that stuff, whose team is it? Is it LeBron's or the coaches? So
The
Well, see,
NBA
that's
is a
my
players'
point.
league. It is never the coaches. It is
all
never the
right,
coaches.
there you go.
They're
That
just
was
the first one.
that
They're
was
just
the
the first
question.
ones to get fired. That's all. I mean,
Go-to players versus star players, baby. The star
Yep.
players run the league. We know that. So
Yeah. I don't know. LeBron's. I'm. I
I mean,
love.
put
I
put.
love Luka Doncic. I'm so sad that he's with the
you know
Lakers.
what?
It's the
Let,
pain of my existence.
let me
I'll
start it.
be
Let me
there.
start a team, and I'm gonna put Taylor Stallings on that team, and then watch how many people come.
Yeah,
I
100%.
mean, so tell her now, like if I get a team, I'm calling her. If she's in the messages, tell her she better shake off the rust and like let's go. Like I'm not gonna hear this retirement stuff. Like we need you for
Taylor
one run.
Stallings doesn't carry rust.
I
She doesn't
don't
carry
think so.
rust.
I don't think so.
All right.
Man, I got a
All right.
big time Luca reference when we come up talking about Atlanta Wild and the Sharks, and I know you already know what it is.
All right. Open up. Open up. Open up.
All right, so first, okay, we're going with you guys are going with just to be clear, it's the Breakers you guys are going with. Last
Yeah,
one?
and you're going with the Venom.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the. All right, so this next one here, we got the Atlanta Wild for the 6:15, the prime time match of the day. The Atlanta Wild, the 2024 champs against the Southwest Florida Sharks. And I got to tell y'all, folks, y'all already know this is going to be exciting. It's definitely going to be some fireworks in person. I already know what time it is. I want Daniel to lead this one off because I know you got something for us. One of the biggest free agent signings or switches, to my knowledge, in recent Grid history. It's like somebody left the House Targaryen and went to the High Towers. Queen Rhaenyra is not happy right now. But I'm going to let Daniel start that off with some big moves for the Florida Sharks, Southwest Florida Sharks.
So the Sharks, obviously, you know, when you make it to the championship and you lose in the fashion that they did last year, you got to have that piece. You got to have something that really solidifies a championship mentality. And so, what better way to do that than to go get somebody who has just won a championship? So the Sharks go out, they get Blake Kidder. And let me tell you something about Blake Kidder. One of the best conversations I had on air and off air was with Blake Kidder. Like his intensity and his personality on the grid. He is that off the grid, but he is definitely more like of a humble person. He gets it, like, but he wants to win and he knows how to win and he knows what it takes to win. He's bringing experience. He's bringing leadership. He's bringing a championship winning mentality. Not that the Sharks didn't have that, but having someone that just did it, like that stuff matters. And so I think having him on that squad is going to like pay dividends in regards to having another leader, having another coach, having that mindset that can get people, hey, we might be losing now, but like we got to reset and refocus. And he ain't afraid to tell you like, hey, you need to pick it up. You need to pick up, you know, you pull your weight. You need to do this. You need to do that. So yeah, I'm looking for another big season from Blake. But I mean, if I'm looking at the Sharks top to bottom, I don't see a lot of weaknesses, if any.
I agree.
You know, Fico, I see Fico in the comments now, and you know, he goes out and he does what he does. Like you got the shirt on, you got it. You know, he re-signs a really solid group of returners. I mean, you get a Nick Shappy, who I think might be the player of the year this year. You re-sign, you know, Chelsea Ranieri, who I think is one of the most underrated players in the league. She just came off a CrossFit semifinals in Spain. So like that's the level of athlete that we're talking about. You got a Derek Anderson, you got a Roderick Holloway, you got the captain Sam Martin coming back, Breezy Lions. I mean, you Jess Coolman, like Sammy Nally, who's working out with her dude, you know, Nick Shappy. So you know what her level is going to be like. Valerie Gunning, Sydney Witter, like I know that there's other people that I'm missing, but like that group of people is going to be interesting to see like them get after it, because like the name recognition is there for the Sharks and the championship like pedigree is theirs to take. But here's the thing, you're going up against the former champs, the defending champs, and they're still the current champs as far as I'm concerned until May 24th at 10:30 in the morning when it kicks off. But Dan Jackson does an amazing job of being very analytical and analyzing all the teams. He knows stuff about teams that nobody else knows, and that's because he puts in the work. He's got Tyler Billington, he's got Kerry Billington, he's got Tom Soroka, Matt Cable, he's got Vilma Gray, who's coming back. He's got that solid group, Sydney Wilson. Like, those are championship players from last year. And in my opinion, you are the champion until somebody beats you. Except this is the one thing that is the caveat with the Wild is there's two names missing off there. And I think y'all know what two names those are. And those two names are huge and they make a difference.
Yep.
Can you're not going to replace Griffin Raleigh or Amanda Fisher. It's just trying to get some specialists that make the work and the load a little bit lighter so everyone can maximize themselves in other places. And when talking to Dan Jackson, he thinks like the league, and I agree with this, is moving to a more of a specialized, like, I just need you for two things. That's it. And then I need you for two things, and that's it. And then you have a lot of people who are more fresh and can give you more effort and more intensity. And so I say all that to tell you, like, this is one of the interesting matchups, and I'm glad this is a matchup in week one because I'm here for it. I'm gonna make sure I have extra tea because I'm ready from the Breakers and the Venom. I got to make sure I got my tea ready for this one too because it's gonna be good.
Yes, indeed. What do you think, Cassie?
So this is the one that I've been wrestling with in my head, trying to think of a decision, right? Because the age-old saying, "If it's not broke, don't fix it." And the Wild weren't broken, and we're looking at a very different Wild team than we saw last season. You said the two names that were on the tip of my tongue in Griffin Raleigh and Amanda Fisher, who played huge roles on their teams. They were instrumental in winning that championship and winning many other matches. They did the brunt of the work, so to speak. But it's one of those things where I know Dan and I've spoken to Dan and I've spoken about Dan enough to know that he doesn't do things for no reason. He is extremely analytical, like you said. He's kind of like a math genius. And I don't know how his brain works, but somehow he does all the little puzzle pieces for his team. There's still a lot of important names in here, like Vilma Gray, who's an excellent utility player, Sydney Wilson, ridiculous, Matt Cable, who hopefully we get to see more of this season, Tom Soroka, heart of the team, those kinds of characters in there. Now, if we look at the Sharks, we're looking at the same strong Sharks team that we saw already with extra star power. We're looking at Blake Kidder, who came from the Wild to the Sharks. And Blake Kidder, if there's one thing that I know about Blake Kidder, is that he really wants to win.
No doubt.
So if Blake Kidder is going to the Sharks, I feel like there's something there. And I'm not saying that's, the make it or break it of my decision is where Blake Kidder goes. I just think that there's a good chance that players know something that we don't know. Chelsea Ranieri obviously is one of the grid superstars right now. If they were playing cards, hers would be, one of the most expensive. Kelsey Keel, I'm excited to see on the grid. Jesse Coleman. And Jesse Coleman is someone who came from the Breakers, who we didn't even get to see play as much as she usually did on the Sharks, just because the Sharks are that freaking strong. And she made the Breakers kind of what it was those seasons in the past. Valerie Gunning, Sydney Witter, people. We're looking at a lot of strong names here, guys. And we look at the championship match, and it was perfectly geared toward the strength that the Wild had at the time of the championship, right? If we're looking at this new match format, we're looking at utility. If I'm looking for players on either side of this, and I look for just the utility players, just by sheer volume alone, I'm looking at the Sharks. So for that reason, I am going with the Sharks. And I think it will be close. It's going to be interesting to see this new Wild team, especially just coming off of the championship. But I don't know. Something is telling me Sharks.
Yeah, I'm going with the Sharks too, guys. When I first heard of the trade, well, I would say trade, the free agent signing, I was floored. I was absolutely shocked because very rarely do you see championships broken up in that manner, right? And like
Yeah.
Daniel said, that's championship medal that Blake is going over to the Sharks with. It just seems like it was a gut punch to the Wild. That's just what it felt like across the league. I don't think their match is going to be close on this day. I have the Sharks as the overall 2025 league championship winners, just top to bottom, just absolutely loaded, as you guys mentioned, from Chris Matos, Derek Anderson, the veteran, Nick Shappy, Kelsey Kale, Valerie Gunn. Like they have everybody, and most of their team is built up of strength specialists and utility players. So their whole team is geared and matches well with the matches that we have set up. So I'm thinking about Tampa Bay versus Sharks early prediction championship match rather, Tampa Bay versus Sharks. But yeah, this Wild team looks like they have a uphill battle. I like all the names you guys mentioned with the veterans, and missing those two players again is huge for the Wild. They're gonna have to really like buckle up for this season. It's gonna be a little bit tough. But we'll see. You never know. Stranger things happen. Are there free agent moves within the season? Does that happen usually or no?
No. So once a player is signed to a team, they have to finish their tenure with that team. If they don't want to play for that team, they basically don't play for the rest of the season.
Gone with
That's
the wind
my
again.
understanding of it. I don't know if they changed it or plan on changing it.
Okay. All right. Cool. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it, guys. Man, what a run for the Wild last year, right? You know the way they
Yeah.
ended that season. You know, going through everything they did, beating the what was it, the super team, and winning in such a fashion. So I'm looking forward to see what the Sharks do. Shout out to Fico Gomez. I've been watching him all off season, putting in work for the team. I'm riding with your brother. We here, and we're gonna see what happens.
Now
We'll
he
see.
wore his Sharks playoff shirt.
Sharks in five.
God.
Go.
And a Knicks hat. I ought to kick you off here.
Listen, I'm all over the place. Listen, Knicks. Let's go, Knicks. Let's go, Knicks. Oh, my bad. It's great. My bad.
Oh man, how do I follow up that chant? For your sake, for your sake, they better not blow this.
Yeah,
They better not.
yeah. There you go. You calling it, Daniel? They must win this.
It's
You know-
recorded now. It's live. We're live right now, Byram. So
Oh, yeah, I mean, listen, we got to call it what it is, you know. Let's go Knicks. Knicks in 5, and also the Sharks are in a must-win situation. They've been building for this for years, you know, and they finally have all the pieces. Let's go get it. What did LeBron tell Anthony Davis, Daniel? Not Anthony Davis, but Anthony Edwards.
get out of
said,
here.
Go
Look
get
at
it. Time to go get it.
Yep. Go get it. Well, for me, it's very simple. I do like the Wild, and I do think that you're the champion until someone beats you, but it's hard to go against the Oprah of United Grid League and Fico Gomez, who's giving everybody cars. You get a car, you get a car. Just sign with us, you get a car.
Yeah.
I kid.
That's
I like Fico. He's
crazy.
a good guy. I've told him when I've talked to him on the phone, like I would do it exactly the same way. I'd go get
Oprah?
veteran leadership, and I would build around that. And like you can't hate what he does really well at, and that's get the right players. You know, having that being said, I just think you look at that roster the Sharks have, and like you look at the other side against the Wild, and I don't see where the Wild has an advantage. And so because of that, I got to take the Sharks, even though I wouldn't be surprised if the Wild win. I think it's going to be much, unlike you, Byram. I think this is going to be much closer than we think it's going to be, and I think it's going to come down to the very last race. And I think the Sharks are going to
You think so?
take it this year.
I
Yeah.
like how you said that you can't see a clear advantage for the Wild. I think that's exactly what it is. I see advantages on the
Yeah.
Shark side and not exactly on the Wild side, and I think you hit the nail on the head with that one.
I don't think they got the bodies, Daniel. That's all it comes down to for me. It's just like, it comes down to those final matches. Now, if you've gone a couple of times, they got depth. The Sharks always had good depth, even last year. They just didn't have a star player to put them over the hump, in my opinion. And that's, I think they have one, a big, big piece with Blake there. So we're gonna see what happens.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, if we remember last season, the Sharks went undefeated until the championship. And that was their first L of the season, and it was unfortunate that it happened in the championship, but it did happen, and it happened by a huge margin.
Yeah.
I think they didn't win a single race. I could be wrong, but Fico, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But
The Wild didn't even run a race.
yeah, they
That's how crazy
completely
that was.
did not do a race and still won comfortably. So
Blake Hader is Luke. He's Luca.
yeah, and
that's the Luka.
I was about to say that the match format. Thank you, Paul, for chiming in. I have to say it like that so he doesn't, get too comfortable out here. But
Paul, what up?
the match format is extremely important, and I think it does serve the Sharks a little bit better because they are more utility. The format last season for the championship was completely strength based, and they just had the mass for it.
They did. Yeah. Yeah, a bunch of offensive linemen out there just bulldozing through everything. It was crazy. So Fico said, "No, we're not having none of that this year. None of that. I'm coming with the pain." So
right.
They got a great roster, man. I
Yeah.
just can't wait to see it in action. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be a close one.
You think so?
I don't think it's going to be, a nail biter, but I think there'll be some give and take.
Okay.
I'll give it that.
Okay. I got 2 blowouts.
You got 2 blowouts?
Yeah, out the gate.
All right.
You got
What
two?
was your other
Two
blowout?
blowouts? Who?
I'm just trying to stir the pot and stir the
What
gumbo.
was your other
It's
blowout?
easy to say, huh?
The Brigade?
So let me go through my notes here. So I definitely got the Sharks winning by a large margin. That's the final match of the day, right? So the one that I'm looking at possibly, I'm looking at the Palms and the Brigade. Either way, one way, it's not going to be as close as we think, I feel.
Yeah.
Either
Fair
one
enough.
way or the other.
Fair enough.
I think the Palms are a very sneaky team. Got to watch them. Got
Yeah.
a lot of heat over there.
All right, same. Standout players. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Dana Paran. She looks really interesting. I've been looking at her on Instagram and stalking everybody because that's what my job is. And Kelsey Keel or Kale Keel.
Yeah.
One of those, and she also has a lot that can translate into grid really well. Nick Shappy, obviously, probably only getting better. I'm scared to see how high he jumps over the box this season. Taylor said to look out for Kawika Henderson. I definitely have to agree with that. I'm also looking at Matt Cable just because he looks like he's been doing a lot of cardio and he's been really good in the Brigade. We just didn't see a lot of him from last season. So I'm excited to see how that translates. Bill McGray, obviously extremely skilled, a utility player. Sydney Wilson, as always. And we'll have to see how, this team fits together, and it'll be super interesting.
For sure. For me, I think, X factor, my girl, Chelsea Ranieri, she going to bring it for sure for the Sharks. From the men's side for the Sharks, just like you said, I mean, you look at Nick Shappy, like he's going to bring it. Like he's a guy, I think, for me, I think I said this earlier, possible player of the year candidate if things work out the way that I think they might. And then on the Wild side, I think it's going to come down to, Tyler Billington and what he's able to do. I think he's a wild card guy that can do a lot of different things, but also Sydney Wilson. How much are they going to tax Sydney to do, and how much is she going to have to do? And can she hold the load? I think she can. I don't think that's going to be a problem. But giving people like, her a chance to shine is going to be critical. And can they step up to the moment now that the two big guns are not with the Wild? And I think she's poised to do that. And I think Tyler's poised to do that. And I think, Vilma is there to kind of fill in all the holes because she's a X factor for them too, being able to do a lot of different things. But for me, that's what I got. I mean, I think it's the Sharks by a close margin. I'm not in the Byram camp, but those are my X factors, my players to watch for.
Awesome, guys. I'm in the same lane with you guys. Definitely Kelsey Kale. I looked at some of her footage and some of her runs. She's great, and she's just a beast out there. So I'm looking forward to see her do her thing as a strength specialist, and also Nick Shappy. We already know what time it is with him. Star player, go-to player. He could be both. So, he has a lot of advantage out there. And for the while, Sydney Wilson, as Daniel mentioned, I'm looking for her to take another step, with missing some of the players that were there last year. And I'm looking at Thomas Soroka being the glue guy this year. They lost a lot of pieces. A lot going to be on those broad shoulders of his, the gentle giant. So we're going to see him try to lead that team as best he can. And they're going to put a negotiation. I am facetious when I say blowout is not going to be something ugly, but I am looking for, a Sharks win. And we'll see what happens on May 24th. Almost a week away, right?
11 days.
11 days. Solid 2 weeks, bro.
Did you make your Luka Doncic reference and I missed it?
That was late dinner for me. I just looked at that. It's like a free agent move that no one expected. It's
sleeper in the night.
Happened there? Was this from the upper, like you said, was it the coach? Was it Danny? Was it something personal? Was it a team blowout? Like what happened there? It was so unexpected and shifting for the whole league. And man, the Sharks were just energized by it. So we're gonna see them perform at a high level this year. Expected.
Yeah. There we go. I was waiting for that one.
That's it. That's it. Guys, I think my battery's about to die.
Oh snap!
Rookie move.
Got to get it plugged up, bro. Let's go.
It's like your Knicks hat was taking up so much of the battery. It was like absorbing.
Oh, stop it. Oh, stop it.
That's the Knicks up 3-1 and their battery's running low.
My God. You see, y'all talking a whole bunch of trash. Now just wait till we win that championship. Listen, this year is the
championship. No way. Championship. No way.
Listen to my delusion. Listen to my delusion with purpose.
Let me hear your delusion.
First of all, everything is about matchups, right? I'm not afraid of the Pacers I'm a little nervous about Cleveland because they got size. If we get the Pacers, easy work. We're going to the finals. Easy work. Now, if we look at
you got to watch out for the Halliburton, the whole family. The whole family. Tyrese Halliburton is an underrated superstar. Last time we won a chip,
the Knicks won a chip at 73. See, these decades of disrespect is going to come back to bite everybody. And I can't wait till the 24th when we're in Miami for United Grid League Jump Off 2025. I got something for all of you haters, you Knicks haters. I got something for you.
Just remember, Byron, John Starks and Patrick Ewing ain't coming out there.
And I'm glad that they aren't because those guys did not lead us to the championship. Patrick Ewing, I got a beef to pick with him on the backside. See, listen, there's some stuff that was going on in the ownership. And Patrick Ewing, I'm going to leave that alone. We're on a public broadcast. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying Jalen Brunson is his name. Josh Hart is his name. Right? Who else? OG? The OG? Come on, baby. Let's go, Knicks.
I don't think the Knicks are taking any teams from the West.
Even though
whoever makes it from the West, I don't think the Knicks stand a dying breath there.
Oh, it's okay. Shout out to Anthony Edwards. That's my guy. I love him. Great baller. I love watching his game. He's just a beast. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it. We're gonna see. We got one more game, and we're gonna keep going with it. But I am excited for this grid season, guys. I'm gonna have to get off of this thing shortly.
I'm getting ready to go.
Yeah. We got to make some moves though. But how excited are you guys ready for this new season, man? It just seems like for the whole league, everybody's rejuvenated. They're putting in work. You can see them. Everybody's so excited to get back to it, and I'm excited to see it on the grid.
Yeah, I think for the 2025 season, this is the most anticipated, most talked about season. I think from a standpoint of the league and growth and development, you're getting a team now in Houston. You've got, a branded team out west and in Vegas. And so you have a lot of like different growth aspects that you look for in a league that is positive. And I'm interested to see like how this season goes and what the continued growth looks like. I think it's going to be a very big season in terms of like continuing that trend forward that we've seen over the past couple seasons. But I'm looking for a lot of fun. It's going to be a great season. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be. I don't think who wins it may necessarily be the team that everyone thinks will win it.
I feel the same. I think this is the first season that there's no clear winner or superstar team. I think last season was the first time that it was even a little bit like muddied. It was like, oh, the Wild are the Sharks, and we knew that they were going to the championship. I think this is the first season that it's really a toss up, and it could be anybody's depending on the execution. And there's talent all over the place, and it's just curated, like a lot more thought into the curation. So I'm really excited to see how that turns out.
I like the two conferences. I like there being some storylines. I like the idea with two conferences. You can have some rivalries and you have some things that you can sink your teeth into. And I'm just looking forward to getting it jumping on May 24th, Miami, Florida, the Miami International Fitness Expo. It's going down. Awesome.
That's
Memorial
right.
Day weekend too. It's gonna be crazy.
The matches will be live on YouTube at the United Grid League official YouTube. We start live at 10 o'clock. Then we have wait, hold on. Am I lying? Wait, sorry. I know the times. I work there. 10:30. All right. Then a 1, then a 3:45, 6:15. All of these times are EST. Don't miss it. It's gonna be a blast. That being said, I'm Cassie Martinez.
Sorry, Cassie. One more thing. Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Playback TV. I gotta give them a plug. We got something coming with them. All three of us in different formats. Chat, if you're still there, look out for Playback TV in the coming year or season rather. Hopefully, we'll have something jumping off with Daniel in the next week or so, and Taylor as well. And then we might be doing some post-game, pre-game stuff with Cassie. Looking forward to that. Live streaming there as well. So Grid is now streaming and interactive in a way that has never been done ever, including CrossFit. So I'm very excited for that and the continued growth with that and growing with you guys with that. So shout out to Playback TV. And thank you, Cassie.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Do you want to share anything else, Daniel?
Yeah,
you chance for your intro. My bad.
No, I got my show, Grid and Grind Show. You can follow me on Instagram at Grid in Grind. I got a whole network, In Off the Bench podcast network on YouTube. You can see college baseball, college gymnastics, professional baseball, and United Grid League action. So check it out. A whole library of Congress full of content for you if you get bored. So
heck yeah. And you won't be bored anymore because those are great podcasts.
No. Appreciate it.
All right. I'm Cassie Martinez.
And I'm Byron Mallon.
And I'm Daniel Ball. And
yeah.
we are out.
See y'all later. Peace.